What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hop LA Events on Tap,
Episode 73.
covering all of the awesome things happening in LA beer this week. And this week, we are at Barbers at the Brewery in Lincoln Heights, celebrating their 20th anniversary. These guys have been holding it down for a very long time, serving some delicious craft beer. And if you're not here today, you are missing out completely. And there's a big reason why, because every year for their anniversary, it always falls within the Pliny the Younger season, and guess what we are drinking today? Gary, why don't you tell them?
Yep, we're drinking Pliny the Younger. You got it. It just tapped a few minutes ago. We got ourselves a couple pours, and it smells delicious. Let's give it a whirl.
Crowbars up.
First, before I even sip it, aromatics like jumping right out of the glass.
I already sipped it.
Tropical, like piney. Wonderful balance there. Yeah, sitting at 10.25%. You would never guess it.
Nope.
This tastes more like a 7.5, 8.
It's what we like to call dangerously drinkable.
This is why the hype exists, is that really kind of big residual sweetness that you get out of 10% plus beers really doesn't exist in this beer.
Yeah.
And again, have to plug hopla.com/PlinyWatch, where we're keeping track of every time this keg is tapped around Los Angeles. So check it out.
Yes, and as Pliny the Younger season is winding down, very sad, because this is a very fun time for us to kind of chase this beer. We do have some sad news. One of our favorite downtown LA spots, Mega Bodega, is closing their doors, but not before they are doing a big goodbye bash happening March 2nd. This place opened up a few years ago, always had a solid tap list. Scott, the owner, always made a point to bring in some amazing craft beer, and just was a really fun spot to hang out, cozy up to the bar, and drink some really good beer. So super sad to see that they're closing their doors, but they're gonna be blowing it out for a nice little goodbye party. You can expect some really good beer on tap for that one, happening March 2nd.
Yeah.
You guys should definitely go check it out. Go say what up to Scott and the crew. Cheers them one last time before we have to say goodbye to Mega Bodega. Before we get into this week's events, we want to feature a couple beers that were on our beer release radar this past week. That cans are most likely still available.
So this week there's a lot of really, really good beers coming up. Two that we want to highlight. So two this week, both from Highland Park. They released them last Thursday, February 21st. And one is Get Meta Hazy IPA collab with Weldworks Brewing, and the other one is One Up, their classic West Coast IPA that we all know and love. Both of them in cans, released on Thursday. I don't think you're going to find them in stores, so you're going to have to head to Chinatown to pick them up. There are worse things in the world to have to do. But yeah, check out our beer release radar in our email every Tuesday and Friday. hopla.com/subscribe gets you right to it.
All right, time to get into the events for this week. Kicking it off with our featured event happening Saturday, March 2nd, 9:30 a.m. at Mohawk Bend. It's the 6th Annual LA IPA Fest. This thing is a killer event every single year. New to this year are special VIP packages.
Yeah, really
that sound
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Gets you special access with the brewers. Highly recommend jumping on those for a very unique experience. Otherwise, bunch of killer IPAs on tap that highly recommend you guys should check that out.
Yeah, the event starts at 9:30 in the morning, so we do recommend showing up there early, and the judging happens at 4:30 in the afternoon. So make a day of it, hang all day, pace yourself most importantly, but there are so many good IPAs to drink that day. So bring some friends, share a bunch, taste a lot, and have a good time.
All right, then on Wednesday, February 27th at 5 p.m., it is the release party of Turpin Bert, which is a collab with Pizza Port and El Segundo, happening at ESBC Slice and Pint, El Segundo's brand new pizza spot. And for this one, $10 tickets apply, gets you a guided tasting with brewers from Pizza Port and El Segundo through some of their beers. Then you hang out at Slice and Pint with the brewers, you get 3 half pints with that ticket. Sounds like a really good time. Turpin Bert sounds like a really great beer. Highly recommend checking out that release party.
Then on Saturday, March 2nd, starting at 12 p.m., X Brewing is opening up their brand new brewery and tasting room in Bell. So these guys have been in the works for a while. I think they were slated to open over a year ago. And as you know, opening a brewery in Los Angeles takes a long time. They're finally ready for you. Head down to Bell, drink some of the X beers, see the new tasting room, and have a good time doing it.
All right, closing out the events for this week, Saturday, March 2nd, 6 p.m., Brewery West in San Pedro is celebrating their 3rd anniversary. And with most of their events, it's going to be mostly a music show, but food trucks, different activities, plus a very special beer release. 100% Nelson Double IPA, tasting room only. I love Nelson hops. This sounds like a really good beer. Check out the 3rd anniversary for Brewery West, March 2nd.
Yeah, cheers on 3 years, guys.
Cheers. All right, so that does it for this week's events. Let's head into the preview section.
Previews.
For the preview section, St. Patrick's Day weekend is just around the corner. There are quite a few beer events coming up for that, 2 of which we want to highlight today.
Yeah, so the first one, Ogopogo in San Gabriel, is having a St. Patrick's Day block party. All of their awesome beer. They'll have food, they'll have live music. It's going to be a really good time out there in San Gabriel. And then also Yorkshire Square in Torrance is having their Nout But Stout Festival. This is the 2nd year of that event. If the first year is any indication, it's going to be a really good one. 25 plus breweries from all over Southern California bringing some really awesome stouts for you to enjoy. They'll have live music and food as well. Highly recommend checking it out. Tickets are on sale. I think you guys just missed the early bird pricing on that, but still, it's worth the ticket. So jump on it. Head to our website, hoppedla.com/events. Check out those 2 events, as well as more that we'll be adding throughout the week, I'm sure.
Yes. So that does it for this episode of Events on Tap. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Time to enjoy Pliny the Younger one last time for 2019.
That's right.
Drink indie.
And drink local.
Not chugging that one.
That's a good one.
We're going to enjoy this one.
Yeah.